So, as an introductory portion here, a little overview. What is this movie? Let's start with what we know concretely. We know that we experience a story from the perspective of an unreliable narrative. It is a narrative that reflects Fred's deeply troubled mental state. We know that Fred killed his wife Renee, and we know that Fred and Renee were real people, and both are dead come the end of the film. Renee dies at the hands of Fred. Fred dies at the clutches of the electric chair. Fred loves his wife, Renee, on some level. He wants to please her, or perhaps more importantly to him, he wants a wife who wants him and who feels satisfied by him. Fred is deeply afflicted with both insecurity and jealousy. I guess there's some overlap between those two traits. We know that he's not proud of his insecurity or jealousy. I believe Fred doesn't want to be a monster. He doesn't want to be hateful nor see himself as such. However, his weaknesses and flaws are so deeply intense that he cannot restrain the monster from within him bubbling to the surface. Unable to accept this side of himself, he creates a fiction within his world and a separation in an attempt to evade the truth of his actions and obfuscate the events that unfold as a means of deflecting and attempting to absorb the fallout. So we know that Fred and Renee were real people. Fred killed Renee, was subsequently executed via the electric chair. From there, we're left with multiple possibilities and multiple different facets. There's a possibility that Fred killed a man named Dick Laurent in the desert prior to the killing of his wife. There's also a possibility that Fred killed a man named Andy. It is definitive that Fred killed Renee. The killing of Dick Laurent is a bit less certain, and less certain even than that is the killing of Andy. What do we know about Renee? Well, beyond the fact that Fred was not capable of pleasing her sexually, we don't know much else for certain. She may have had an affair, but we don't know that she did for certain. Much like we know that Fred killed Renee, followed by a certain probability that he killed Dick Laurent, followed by a lower probability that he killed Andy. With Renee, we know that she was not sexually satisfied by Fred, followed by a probability that she cheated on him, followed by a lowest probability that she partook in porno films, either willingly or unwillingly. The characters we're seeing in this film, or their depictions, are represented by Fred's deranged mind. Beyond Fred and Renee, we aren't sure if any of the other characters are 100% fictional, or if they are real people reimagined in Fred's head. Even Pete Dayton may have been a real person. Lastly, I suggest two things. From the moment that Fred is punched in the face by the detectives, up until and after he takes the doctor-prescribed sedative and transitions into Pete, that segment is real life being displayed to us, from the punch in the face to the transition to Pete. This portion of the film may very well be fully objective. The alternative is that there are absolutely no moments of this film that are objective, and that stretch of film I just identified is merely the closest to resembling objective reality to be shown